Hey there, folks. Last week I talked about being a CEO under fire, and today's installment is about key performance indicators, the KPIs of trust and profits. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Benefits with John Clay. I'm John Clay, your host and chief strategy guide, and it's August the 3rd, 2022. Moving in days are coming with college students, first days of school. We're dealing with tragedy across the eastern half of the Commonwealth of Kentucky with these tremendous floods that have wiped out the North Fork, the Middle Fork, and the South Fork of the Kentucky River and their convergence on Bateville, Kentucky. And our thoughts and prayers go out to those folks. And, it's just a tragedy, and we hope that they'll be able to put their lives back together. But today we're talking also about trusting, because this is where those trust issues come into play, because we trust that people will rebound and come back. And there are constant decisions made in everything that we do or say. And we're always trusting that we're making the right decisions on all sorts of issues. So shout out to our sponsor today. Today's show is sponsored by Better Source Benefits Option Solutions. Check it out at www.bettersourcebenefits.com. So let's get right into it. What is trust? According to the Oxford Dictionary, trust is a firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of something or someone. And in business, trust is a basis for connection. It's built moment by moment, decision by decision, action by action. In an organization, trust is an ongoing relationship between an entity and its varying stakeholders, employees, owners, clients, customers, the whole nine. When performed with a high degree of competence and the right intent, an organization's actions earn trust with these groups. Trust distinguishes and elevates your business, and connecting you with the common good, that's the big deal. Put trust at the forefront of your planning, strategy, and purpose, and your team, your client, your customer, your supply chain vendors will put trust in you. So we're going today to a recent study by the Deloitte Center for Integrated Research, who interviewed more than 70 people from subject matter specialists and Fortune 500 C-suite executives to identify the areas within an organization that influence trust with different stakeholders. I'm going to post this article in our show notes, but here's what happened. Using these interviews, they built a trust questionnaire, and this analysis went out to over 3,000 executives for the survey. The results: senior executives recognize the need to build or rebuild trust within their organizations. The challenge is that they often struggle with understanding exactly how trust can be managed. Just look at today's business environment. Trust is becoming increasingly complex to understand and manage, especially as organizations are expected to build trust across growing ecosystems of stakeholders and the moving targets of evolving expectations. You never know where the ball's going. So how can a person focus on this KPI, this key performance indicator? It's time to measure trust. Now think about that. Let that soak in, because what we teach all of our C-level executives, it's true, is that you cannot manage what you cannot measure. One of the first steps in managing trust is to understand how it can be defined and measured. So trust is commonly considered an abstract or a nebulous concept lurking in the back of everyone's mind as the "I know it when I see it" definition, right? In today's complex world of open-minded culture, proliferation of medical debt, employee benefits, Glassdoor reviews, social media posts, anything can shape the perception of trust for an organization in a minute. Next thing you know, you're a CEO under fire. Shout out to last week's episode, right? So Deloitte proposes that trust should be seen as a tangible, strategic, and critical asset, given the real quantifiable value that it can bring to an organization. And it should be managed much like other key performance indicators on the organization's balance sheet. And you do this by considering its drivers and implications more deeply across the enterprise. What gets measured gets done. When you know the impact you want to create and how much of it has already taken place, then you have the knowledge to make further changes. I'm going to call your attention to the illustration here. So you've got all domains that are important in building stakeholder trust, but some may be more so. You have the table stakes domains that are critical business areas. The research tells a story that the areas of culture and purpose, workforce experience, customer experience, ethics, data protection, diversity, equity, inclusion, and environmental, social, and governance are gaining focus among the stakeholder groups. Prioritizing your organization to earn trust in these domains may be outside your comfort zone, but they definitely present an exposed risk if lost trust issues arise. I want to restate that. They definitely expose a risk of lost trust if issues arise. I had to get that one clear in my mind. So how do we make trust actionable? Here are some tips that organizations can do now to start measuring trust at deeper levels in their business. And with this strategic priority, it can be a struggle. But here are 5 straightforward steps that leaders can take to manage this trust. Number 1, explore trust levels in your organization. Yeah, the dreaded surveys will work unless you want to get into artificial intelligence with automated sensing platforms. We've come a long way on artificial intelligence, but I don't know how you feel about doing surveys, but there's a lesser of 2 evils in that one. Diagnose critical gaps. Once you've got that data in here, you leverage that data to identify the trust gaps. Then you prioritize the focus on the trust drivers relative to the organizational priorities. Once you match those up, or if you don't have a clue, search trust-related performance topics from other industries. But you align those, and then boom, you activate. Number 4, you activate. You drive the trust through strategic initiatives. Over time, these elevate trust and stakeholder behavior in a positive way. And 5th, you protect for the future and build trust equity. The evolving nature of a business and its ecosystem requires measuring on an ongoing basis to anticipate and address issues before they happen. And if they happen, they can lead to significant trust gaps. But you just do it like a bank account. You make deposits in the trust equity along the way to build a reserve. And in the event a negative trust event occurs, boom, you've got a little bit in the tank to cover. So what does all this mean? I think you'll agree stakeholder trust is becoming increasingly complex. The potential for a breakdown in trust grows as business complexity increases. Factors that contribute to this growing in complexity, like customer expectations, services ensuring data privacy, a world-class digital experience to customers, along with a safe and inclusive workplace for employees and committing to action on a social environment issue. These are things that are all factors, and creating investors who are also paying increased attention to the company diversity and environmental, social, governance, and A study of 610 institutional investors proved that. Employees have increasing leverage and expect more from their organization than a paycheck. 60% of employees choose to leave or avoid employers based on their values and beliefs. So many organizations don't typically prioritize trust or treat it with the same focus and urgency as they do other business priorities. But the benefits for those companies who are trustworthy are significant. Recent research suggests that these companies outperform the S&P 500 by levels as high as 30 to 50%. My take on this is that benefits that leave a person functionally uninsured with large amounts of medical debt have a tendency to destroy the trust in an organization. So if you'd like to see how we can help you restore trust in your employee benefits package, why don't we sit down for a 20-minute Zoom call and learn how I can be helpful? These will be the most productive 20 minutes you'll spend this month, I promise. So I invite you to click on the website, www.bettersourcebenefits.com, and click the Get Started link to book a brief meeting with me. And I'm John Clay, your host and chief strategy guide. So that's it. How to build trust and measure trust. Hey, that is, and my hope for you is that this has been informative and gives you those tools to measure and manage those KPIs of trust. Join us next week, same time, 2 p.m. Eastern. And that is on Benefits with John Clay. Hope to see you next time.